Backtalkers, I come to you from isolation, from the void, from what feels like the great beyond, but really has been 5 days cooped up in the house with my children who were sick and then, of course, got me sick. So I didn't have as much time to prepare this week for our video. So actually what you're going to see is what was supposed to be my first video, which was going to come out during Pride Month. But because I am a perfectionist and a scaredy cat, I could not hit that upload button. So I've reworked it to have it updated with a little bit more current news, but let's be honest, the themes of Pride and the things that we were discussing then, we're still discussing now, 2 months later. So, hope you enjoy, and we'll catch you again next week. Hi there, welcome back to BackTalk Society, the only news show where the tea is scalding, the nails are sharp, and the jokes are protected under the First Amendment. At least for now, until SCOTUS finds a way to overturn that too. Let's just get into it. Let's get into this week's What the Hell? Texas House just passed Senate Bill 8, an extreme anti-trans bathroom bill. This law will force people in schools and government buildings to use their biological sex and restricts where trans people can be placed in family violence shelters, prisons, and jails. At the last minute, Representative Steve Toth, a guy who looks like he's only received unrequested hand jobs, added an amendment raising fines for violations to as much as $125,000, with each day counting as a separate offense. This makes SB 8 the harshest and most financially punitive bathroom bill in the country. Texas House members have just voted to deny trans and intersex people the basic dignity of safely using public restrooms. We're doing this instead of solving one of the many real problems that Texas citizens face every day. Politicians are out here playing bathroom monitor. Y'all just make pee political. Next up, are we filibustering on farts? In just 1 week, 2 federal appeals courts upheld bans on gender-affirming care for trans youth in Arkansas and Oklahoma, a clear expansion of the SCOTUS's U.S. versus Scrimetti ruling. These rulings come as the Trump administration escalates its attacks on transgender care by freezing federal funding, subpoenaing clinics, and pressuring hospitals nationwide to shut down gender-affirming programs. Let this be a reminder, or maybe a newsflash to everyone out there. Gender-affirming care for children is more often than not all the time, but more often than not, haircuts, puberty blockers, which are not permanent, preferred names and pronouns, and clothes that they just feel comfortable in. SCOTUS says they're protecting kids. Protecting kids from what? Happiness? Self-expression? Target's pride collection? The only thing these dusty fossils are protecting is Brett Kavanaugh's bar tab. And speaking of SCOTUS sucking, Kim Davis, everyone's favorite bump it bumpkin, has petitioned SCOTUS to overturn Obergefell versus Hodge. The court has asked the couples affected to respond, a step towards potential review in 2026. Welcome to yet another sequel no one asked for. We're 10 years since this ruling, y'all. A decade. Let's be honest. Straight people ruined the sanctity of marriage a long time ago. These are the same people that brought The Bachelor into our lives. But sure, let's blame the gays. How about we move away from the jolly capitalists with personality disorders and into some bright news, bold women, shall we? Marsha P. Johnson, a black LGBTQ plus liberation activist and drag queen from New Jersey, would have turned 80 years old this week. Marsha was a central figure in queer history as she threw the first brick at Stonewall. I have dreams that if she were alive today, she'd be throwing a Louboutin at Clarence Thomas's head. A girl can dream, can't she? The P in Marsha P. Johnson stood for Pay It No Mind, which is what she would say in response to questions about her gender. Imagine if SCOTUS followed that advice. Pay it no mind. We'd still have rights and peace of mind. In honor of Marsha's birthday this year, a celebration of Black trans women cookout was held. The gathering centered around Black trans joy, love, and healing, a living legacy of Marsha's spirit. This was organized by Gia Love and Angelito Collective. Look at these portraits and how gorgeous everyone looks. They're so stunning. Proof that you can fight for rights and serve looks hotter than the grill simultaneously. And finally, despite state orders, communities in Orlando, Florida, and beyond repeatedly repainted the rainbow crosswalk that was held at the Pulse nightclub. They painted over it. The people chalked it back in. The rainbow crosswalk is the most progressive thing in Florida since Publix dared to start carrying oat milk. That's all I have in me this week. Backtalkers, make sure you hydrate, do some rage crying, and maybe call your local senator, tell them how you feel about these issues. I'll see you again here next week. Same time, same rage. I enjoyed what was supposed to be episode 1, but ended up being episode 3 of BackTalk Society. Thought I would come back on here and give you a little taste of what I've dealt with being home with the kids, sick all week, and reading off to you some things that my kids said this week while home with COVID.
Gosh.
At one point, one twin whispered to the other, "I'll kill you in your sleep." Okay. I mean, they're both still alive, so that's good. I told them they needed to do 20 minutes of reading and that they could read anything. So in my mind, a comic book, a graphic novel, a magazine. They turned on the closed captioning on the television and claimed that that counted as the reading.
It does. It does count.
One night, I was lying in my bed, talking to my husband, as one does. And we started to laugh, again, as one does. And it was right then when one of them yelled, in an Italian mobster voice accent, "Be quiet! I gotta go to work in the morning, sweet cheeks." My family knows that by bedtime my ADHD medicine has worn off. So my brain is very susceptible to ruminating thoughts. So right as one of them was about to fall asleep, one of them whispered to me, "Why do they call things that ships bring in cargo, but the things cars bring in as shipments?" And let's just say I have not slept since.
Oh my god.
And finally, most hurtful of all, one of them told me my outfit was a, quote, cry for help.